Hey, welcome everybody to, I don't know how many weeks this is that we've been doing Zoom calls. I was thinking about that earlier today. Your 85th edition. I don't know. I have no idea. I know the first time that I ever did a Zoom call, I was a nervous wreck, completely nervous wreck, and now I look forward to it every week. And isn't that funny the way God works with comfort zones? You start off one way and think, that one thing right there, that's the thing that's going to eat me. It's going to kill me dead. And then after that, you're like, hey, it didn't. Look at that. I got so much more brave. Look at that. Oh, my gosh. So I'm excited tonight because I'm going to interview someone who barely knows I'm going to interview her, definitely doesn't know the questions that I have lined up for her. They're not hateful, though. In case she's giving me disgruntled looks, they're good ones. Also, I'm going to give you a pass on any of them that you say, gosh, I don't know about that. If I have a question for you that you think, I'm going to have to think about that. We can do rain checks on questions, but we're just going to dig deep tonight. I got to find my notes on my phone, though, so I can find my questions. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you guys to my friend, Erin. Probably many of you say, she's my friend, Erin. Erin Crowell, I know I said it right, on our butterfly team. First time I met her, she had been on my team for a while, and I still thought her name was Crowell because everybody I know around here that spells their name with an O-W-E-L-L, like my friends that live up the street whose last name is Howell, their name is not Hole. So that's where I got the fact that her name is, I still say I want to say it wrong. Sometimes I want to say it's Crowell. No, it's Crowell. Erin Crowell. Many of you know her because she makes friendships really easy. And I've frequently called her some of the glue on this team because she makes sideline friendships with plexus people. And so what I want to interview her about tonight, I do want to talk to her specifically because she became Emerald at the end of last month. But that's the reason we're doing this and the timing of it right now. Many of you who are just joining our company, depending on where you are in our company, you may or may not know that our company is coming out of a bumpy road season. So to rank advance to Emerald in this bumpy road season is an achievement. We've had everything from customer service, like what in the world is going on? Sometimes I would say, what is going on in regards to customer service? Sometimes it would be stuff that was going on with our computer systems. I would be like, somebody just shoot me. Somebody just shoot me. So if someone can rank advance in a time like this, you would think, man, she must be brand new and has crazy momentum because she just started and she's just now running through all of her warm market people. But I want you guys to hear a very different story tonight. So I'm going to ask her some questions. Erin, I'm going to unmute you. Let's see. The first question I want you to answer for us, to the best of your ability, is if you can describe your life before plexus. If you don't mind, I'd really like for you to touch on both your health and what your work life looked like in general.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know me, my name is Erin. Obviously, she just said that. She used to call me Crowell because she couldn't say my name, so she just kind of made up like her own version of my name. So my life before plexus, well, I think my sister's on this call, so she probably could validate anything that I'm about to say. And I was a nasty, mean old cuss. I wasn't all the time, but it's funny, Lori, when you said that I make friendships so easily, before plexus, was really good at ruining friendships before plexus because of my mouth and my mood, and I was a hot mess. So I am 35 years old. I've never had kids yet. And so my hormones were like, they weren't even like rolling hills. They were like, boom, boom. Like they were not any kind of stable whatsoever. And that affected my relationships. That affected my work life. Totally being 100% candid. I was written up for my mood and like how nasty I was to people. I don't think I ever told you that, Lori. At my social work job, I think 2 different times I was written up for being mean to coworkers.
The social worker?
Yeah. What? I was overworked, girl. Like, I was bad, but I didn't know how to deal with my stress. I was so far from it. Anywhere of being like emotionally healthy and even knowing like the value in seeking that out. So I worked as a social worker for 13 and a half years. I did everything from juvenile delinquent work to foster care, adoption, hospice, mental health for adults. So I've done everything as far as when it comes to the different types of social work. But primarily, most of my work was in the children and youth field, or DHS. DHS is, I think, what y'all call it in Oklahoma, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that was the bulk of my career. Does that kind of encompass the question?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Do you happen to remember, you may or may not remember this, and if not, I can rephrase it. Do you happen to remember the first time you saw the word plexus, or did someone come to you about plexus? Do you tell us how that happened?
Yeah, I actually was looking at a friend from high school, her Facebook page, and she was talking about using plexus, and she had good results with losing some weight. And so it was just on Facebook that I saw it. She didn't come to me. She probably wouldn't have been brave enough to. And actually, it's funny because her and I were not like friends. I knew her through her husband, who he and I were actually friends in high school and went to school together. So it was through them as a couple. I actually picked his brain more than hers because I knew him better. And I was just looking to see if it could help with more than just weight loss, because I had recently gone on some medication to kind of help me with some emotional instability, I'll say.
Okay.
Trying to keep it compliant.
Right. Okay. How long have you been an ambassador?
April 9th, 2013. So 4 years.
4 years. Okay. And do you happen to, I don't know the answer to this question. So do you know how long it took you to go silver? You may or may not know. I don't know.
Yes, I do. I went, I want to say in November. Like, it took me a while because I had people jump on and then they'd fall off, and jump on and then fall off. So I think it was November of 13 that I went silver. So from April to November, it took me.
Do you remember if you went, was 2013 your first convention? No.
14 was.
14. Okay.
Because when I started, it was in April, and it had just, because it was 2013, June convention, they released X Factor. That's how I remember that.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. So I want you to tell us about your business journey, but I want you to do it kind of maybe via answering these questions, because really the fascination with your journey for me is going to be that I think so many people will be able to relate to it, if that makes sense. So many people can relate to your business, your product testimony or not.
Right.
The fact that many people may be like, I don't know, maybe I'm stuck. If it took you however many months to get to silver, I think that's very relatable. Yeah, and it's encouraging to see that someone can overcome what felt like a struggle in the beginning. So, so I'm going to ask you a few questions in a row here, and you feel free to elaborate. But is there anything that gets you or keeps you motivated?
Oh, well, as far as in the beginning, that got me motivated to work the business, because I had no intention of that. But that started pretty quickly when my friends saw a difference in my mood, and they wanted my sponsor's ID number to get products. And I was like, no, like, you're going to buy off me. I just sign up. So that was like within 3 days, they said that I was nice, and it was a rare occasion. So they were like, okay, it's got to be this plexus that's making her nice. So 3 days in, I think it was the 9th, by the time I finally signed up. And the thing that I love to tell about this is that I only got my $34.95. I paid for my website. I didn't get the welcome pack at first because straight up did not have the cash, didn't have the money for the cash. So I paid my $34.95. 2 weeks rolled around, payday, and I went in and bought my welcome pack. So at the beginning, it was I didn't want somebody else to make a buck off of my friends. I wanted to make a buck off of them, totally being straight. And then after that, it became, oh my gosh, like this is extra income that maybe I don't have to work the overtime hours, because I worked overtime hours for me to have like a little cushion or to not be late on my bills. As a social worker, you don't go into it for the money. So in the beginning, it was to make extra money so I could pay my bills or have extra cushion. And then it got to be where I wanted to be able to quit my social work job. And I never really thought in the beginning that that was a possibility, but like by the first year, I was like, oh yeah. And then it was in November of 14 when I came to visit y'all that it was the like switch that flipped. And that's what motivated me, like hardcore, like had a branding iron on my rear, like motivating me to get going, because I saw that, and don't take this disrespectfully, but that you were normal people and you weren't these fancy pants that like everybody tries to put off when they see all of the elaborate things on a network marketing business. You guys were straight up like dirty dishes in the sink and like, you know what I mean? I mean, really, Laura, let's be honest, you know, but that's what I needed to see to know that like it was attainable for me. You know what I mean? Like you were as straight up real and honest as you could be. And so that was like the next line of motivation. And since then, like now it's like obviously for me to be able to pay off my debt within the next 2 years. And when I say debt, I paid for my college myself. My parents did not. I'm still paying for my college at 35. And as a social worker, that happens a lot. Not all the time, but because of circumstances through life that just, you know, so being debt free is my next motivator, and also buying my own home without another income. Not to say that I don't want another income like a husband, but to be able to say that I can do that with my own income, that I don't need someone else to do that, like that's pretty darn cool. So
I like the way, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I like the way you answered that, because what I noticed in your answer, and truly she didn't know these questions before, and I have no idea of the answer on the majority of the questions that she's going to answer tonight. But the thing I liked about that answer is how, what my motivator was at the beginning, and then what it was later, and then what it was later, because if there's anything in this business that is a constant, it's the fact that your why changes, your motivator changes. Many of you I've shared the fact that the things that I even thought were going to motivate me in the beginning now don't motivate me at all. And it really has less to do with money. It has more to do with like what's going on here.
Yes.
If that makes sense. The more I grow and the more fun it is to help people. And I know that resonates with you, because I've heard you talk about it so much.
Yeah. And that's funny, because the thing, like right now I'm in Colorado, so the time freedom, and I'm not up here for a vacation. Like I'm up here to help a friend out. And so like the ability to have a business where I can pick up and like take my big old, you know, fake Louis Vuitton with me in the car and drive up here and get my stuff done when I don't need to be running kids to ball games and Awanas and grocery shopping and folding laundry and carrying in wood and all that stuff. So being able to like serve other people for sure is like the next layer, and like even bigger than that, like where God has planned and shown me things that just give me spirituals just right now. Like what he has plans for me over mine, like far exceed. And I'm still trying to catch up with but Lord, I don't think I can do that. And he's building me up to show me like, yes, this is the next level of motivation for you, because this is what I need you to do, because I helped you. Now it's time for you to do what I need you to do.
That's awesome. Okay. Let me ask this next question that I'm going to ask you, has been asked to me before. And when I heard it, I got this gut, because this is not something I'm good at. I'm going to ask you because I don't know what your answer may be, but your answer can be an honest, I don't have that going on. So, how do you invite someone to take a look at our products or our business?
It honestly, it changes for every single person. So if I have someone that I know is curious about the products and they're asking me things, I've followed their leading. I've let them contact me first, but there was one that made me get this gut feeling, like 3 or 4 people on my chicken list that like I've circled in prayer and I know like what it could do and what they would be to my team. I just straight up like jumped in the water like head first and didn't plug my nose, and like, because for me, like I just went in full speed ahead with some of them. Now other people, it's taken me a while. It kind of just depends on the person. It's something that I'm getting more bold with. So it's funny because most people are like, you're shy, and I'm like, there's certain times when there's people that have like just that level of intimidation. Yeah, there's people that can shut me up real quick.
Okay. So, my next question, this just came into my head that is not written down, but outside of, like when you were talking about things that have motivated you, things that have happened along the way, outside of motivators, I'm not sure how to word this exactly, but is there a time span or anything that happened in your journey, or maybe a book you read, or did you have a defining moment at any time that you were like, I'm going to take this all the way, or perhaps I have the ability to take this all the way, or is there anything that stands out in your mind? If it doesn't, that's okay, because I've asked this question to people before.
Yeah, no, and I really, the same answer, a part of the same answer what I gave before, like when I came to y'all's house and visited with you guys in November of 14, after I met you at convention, like convention kind of sparked that. I had no idea what I was getting into when I went to convention. Like I didn't know the belief that would be poured into me from both you and Jetty, but also from the speakers. And I think the way that you guys just instantly, like, I don't know if you guys know this, but like there's 2 people in between me and Jetty, and then of course Jetty is under Lori. So like they're not my 1s and 2s, they're my 3s and 4s. So that's one thing that the relationship that y'all had for me or with me from the beginning, and it might have been because I was just a little annoying and wouldn't leave you alone, but it might have been just because I have that endearing quality. I'm going to go with the endearing quality. But you were like, able to just pour into me 120% and still do, like I'll come down and get my fill when I need, the business side, and Jetty does that. So it's like, that was the first thing in November and then of 14. But then when I moved to Oklahoma in November, early, must have with November. Holy cow, that just made my like click in my brain that it was a year from the time that I went to see y'all that I came to live in Oklahoma.
Almost exactly. Because
I moved. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Holy rip. And that's the weird thing. Like when I started like going through the coaching programs and stuff like that, what is he laughing at me? You turned around.
Remembers when she went silver too. He's just.
Yeah. Oh.
Poking holes in your calendar here. It's
maybe I'm going to get married this November. Just kidding. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. That's how my brain works. Squirrel. But so I think those things like that, and then moving out to Oklahoma and knowing that like it was completely on a senior gold salary, and senior gold is great of an income, but when you're the only income, not everybody retires their day job as a senior gold. Most people are like emerald, maybe diamond, more than likely. Nope. I was like senior gold. I'm done. I'm over it. And it was because God like completely just kept showing me signs of like how he was growing things and growing me and making me uncomfortable. And the more that I gave faith and praise to him, the more my business grows. You know what I mean? And it still continues to do that because so I'm sure that there's going to be another level of like, okay, then it's on to the next. And when I circle back to double diamond, and you know what I mean? So like those things are like always changing, kind of like your why, I think. but literally visiting you guys and just seeing how straight up easy it was for me to know that, like, you as a photographer, him as a tire plant / car guy could do this. It wasn't like you guys went and had your MBA and could make your business grow because y'all were business smarty pants people. Like, I'm not business smarty pants.
Okay, next question. I didn't know the answer to that. I have no idea what your answer to that was going to be, but I was curious. My next question was, now, keep in mind, everybody, she's an early riser, and that makes her a little weirder than the rest of us. Really early. Now, however, though, I do want her to share her daily method of operation. Can you tell us what, like, an average, I don't want to pick a weird day because you may have a day that you take off, but let's say an average Tuesday looks like for you?
There's nothing average about my daily method of operation. I am the worst person to ask this. And like my business coach, Dave Walker, he's so funny because he's like, okay, girl, I want you to do this, this, and this. I'm like, Dave, we got to get something straight. Like, the more you push me to do things, the more I'm going to be like, don't be telling me what to do. There are things that I know. Jetty's laughing at me, isn't he?
Because I figure he's recognizing that.
Yeah. So anyways, in my ideal world, what I do on a really good day where I'm organized and I'm on my game, I'll contact people, follow up with my ambassadors, reach out to prospects, follow up with customers. And I don't do all of them in one day. I do like snippets. To be honest with you, like my plexus day probably is 3 hours, maybe 4. And that includes like my own personal growth time. Mm-hmm. And then that's not counting my devotion time. My devotion time is sometimes 2 or 3 hours in itself because I'm lucky enough to do that. And there's days where he just, wakes me up at 3:30 and says, let's chat, girl, I miss you. Because I don't do the method every day. And I don't do my devotions like uniformed every day. So I'm not the best person to ask with that.
No, actually, to be honest with you, you are the best person to ask because...
Oh, well, then I'm not the best person to follow the example.
No, actually, for this team,
okay.
Many people on this team, the reason I wanted you to share that is because there's something about this team that we have a lot of people we have many who are very strategic, goal-oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a statistic. I'm going to share the statistic with you. There's a statistic in network marketing that, not Plexus specifically, but network marketing in general, that 2% of the people who give it a shot make it to the top. And
right.
I think if you were to do a survey in other network marketing companies, probably all network marketing companies, if you were to do the color personality of the 2% in the company, you'd find the majority of those 2% would be reds, and you'd have sprinkled in a few blues.
Mm-hmm.
People who love fun and people who, well, I'm saying this backwards, people who are strong, natural leaders.
Yeah. Yes.
People who love fun and vacations and are motivated strongly by the concept of that.
Yeah.
So, okay, when you find someone who doesn't necessarily, I'm not saying you don't fit either one of those categories, but you're kind of like, it's kind of like, I don't know, I wake up and do this, and sometimes I do that. And if you don't fall in line exactly with someone's idea of a scheduled set list or, lesson plans, like for a teacher, like these are the lesson plans for the day. Well, I think people get lost because duplication doesn't always duplicate if you're not a red. Like if I were to sit down and say, no, let me say this. If I were sponsored by a red and they told me this is what you do to get where I got, I would be overwhelmed with the checklist of it. I would think, I don't know this. I don't know how to do that. Not that I can't, not that you and I both can't make this business work. Not that you and I both can't make it rock and roll. But it's a different method and the duplication is different. Like we can duplicate, we're just duplicating a different than an Eric Worre plan. We're doing something different than maybe rocking your network marketing business, Rockin' Robins. Nothing wrong with the way they do business. it just doesn't translate for someone
Right.
like you. And you and I are even different than each other.
Yeah.
I'm lumping us together in the category
Right.
that wouldn't work for either one of us. So
Right.
I feel like I think it's great that you have an answer like that, because your answer to that question is more hope than it is
Right.
tip. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not a tip,
Yeah.
it's hope. For people like myself, I would have loved hearing this interview, because I would have been like, hey, maybe I can do this business. And I think a lot of people will relate to answers like that.
Right.
So, okay,
Yeah.
hang on a second here.
There's a question in the chat that I want to answer. It just said, what was your follow-up method? And it literally is, there's no method, Misty. Like, literally, it is a notebook that I try dearly to write in when I do my follow-ups, but I don't, because I go through and I scroll through my messages and I do it that way. So I have to be checking my messages. And also, like, I do a lot of, I don't like to call it follow-up. I've kind of gotten that term out of my head. Like, I'm just doing my thing and talking to my peeps, because the word follow-up to me makes it salesy, and that puts a block on me. So I have to not use certain words like that. I'm essentially doing it, but I can't even, and I think that was where it switched for me, is like, and even when I say to my team, like, it's follow-up Friday, are y'all reaching out to your people? I puke in my mouth when I say that. But I know that I have other people on my team that get excited and go, oh, it's follow-up Friday. I'm so excited. I have my list already here. Here you go. And I'm like, oh, get on with your bad self. Like, there's so many people that I've had to learn to be flexible. And even though I don't necessarily relate to that, I have to meet their needs and give them what they want. So, and if I can't, I direct them to people like Jetty, who can give them the numbers and the analytical stuff, and I call it I need you to be my plexus guy, like, and give me the boy version of what I should be doing, instead of like my, oh, I'm just a free spirit version. You know what I mean? Like, I need you to help me channel this red, because the only thing that's red is my hair. Like, there's very little, like, I have bossy pants sometimes, but when it comes to stuff like with the leadership, red is my least color.
Yes.
First, well, no, green is, and then red, but yeah. So I think the follow-up for me, Misty, it's like not something that I call it that. It's just something I do every day. I don't have a certain day of the week, because to me, like Lori said, like, if there's a day that I can't do my DMO, my daily method of operation, or DM. Yeah, I said that right. Sorry. And then I don't, like, I'm a little off schedule this week with things, and I did some today, and I'll get a good amount done tomorrow, because the kids that I'm up here helping my friend out with, they go to their co-op tomorrow. So I'll get to do my stuff, and then Friday I'm back on duty, so I won't have like a follow-up Friday. So I don't have like a rigid schedule, and I literally, just I go where the spirit leads me when it comes to reaching out to people, because there's times where I get inklings, and if I don't follow through with them, then I feel like a turd. And like 9 times out of 10, when I do follow up through with my gut feelings or where the spirit's leading me to go, then people are like, oh my gosh, I so needed to hear from you today, and blah, 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 blah. So like, follow your gut instinct. Mm-hmm. And like, even if it's something where, well, it's only been 3 days, they're not on their 7-day mark of me to follow up with them, and Sarah Rockin' Robbins or Eric Corey or this person says that I have to follow up on this many days. No, that's not always true. You have to make sure you follow up with them, but it is not, this business is about relationships. It's not about lists. Ugh. At least for me. Sorry.
Okay. So the little thing she did there at the end is a great example. Now, I had to learn this very much the hard way. In fact, very, very much the hard way, is that, like, I feel the same way as her. When somebody tells me follow up or something like that, my brain goes, oh my God, that's a job. Follow up is a job, and I want to have fun. Now I want to have fun, not maybe necessarily fun like a blue, like I'm not necessarily motivated. I wouldn't be motivated by this business strictly because of the vacations. I guess that's what I'm saying. But what I can really relate to in what she said is, I had to learn the fact, this is so relevant to what you're saying, the fact that, for example, relationships come naturally to me. I'm a chatterbox. I like to investigate, ask people questions. I like to, even if I'm just in town and I'm talking to someone, I ask a lot of questions, talk a lot. And when I realized that there are people on my team, and I know with what you just said tells me that you know this too, there are people on your team that have no idea what that's like. They're more by something else. To realize that, hey, hang on, I got to write a word down because I'm eventually going to have to talk about this too, because this is bugging me.
Ooh, I like it.
So what I was saying is, when I realized, like, I heard somebody say this word one time. They're like, I teach my team how to edify people. And I remember being like, I've never heard that word before. Well, once I started learning what it was, I realized, why would you teach people how to do that? Don't people know how to do that? Well, no, like, people don't. I didn't realize that there's a technique to it that can be taught, if that makes sense. So, for example, if someone struggles with relationship, they need guidance in the areas that, so I went around feeling like a dummy about the business until finally I was like, guess what? I have some input about, I could teach you how to have a relationship because it comes naturally to me to love on people, whatever. Something else I want to brand you with this. I want to stick it on your forehead because it got stuck on my forehead recently and I was like, I love this. Okay. Leadership, and in the way we look at it in someone who would be a classic red personality, is something different and something that we all like. We want to draw those reds to us because I would love to have 15 level ones that see this business, know what it is, and they want to kill it with both of their bullhorns. You know what I'm saying? They're like tackling it to the ground. They're the header and the healer and the header, or whatever it is. They do all the jobs at once because they're a great red personality. I love reds. I don't understand reds though. Like, the fact that they want to do all that makes me go, that takes a lot of effort. That's the way I say it. That's the effort that I want to put into something. They like the effort part of it though. So finally somebody told me the other day, they said, you're a leader. It's just that you're in servant leadership. It's a thing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to like stick that tag on you because we definitely do have leadership skills in some shape.
Oh yeah.
It just looks different. The next thing, go ahead.
I think with my social work career, that's when people say like, you're a natural at this, and I have people tell me all the time, well, I can't sell anything, but you do it so well. And I'm like, I know how to love on people and build relationships and to help build belief in them because I did that for 13 years as a social worker. Not always 100%, mind you, but I know the concept behind giving people confidence is going to motivate, once they believe in themselves, and they have to have other people like, just like I always say, like, I'll believe for you, I'll have faith for you until you have it. Like, we stand in the gap for them, like when we're talking spirituality, right? Well, It's the same thing with confidence, that like you see that potential in them and you love on them and show them, teach them, and then be an example of a strong, confident person. So even though I'm not a red, I'm very confident, more than most, when it comes to doing the business side because of knowing how to build relationships.
Yes, that totally makes sense.
Okay.
Okay. This next question we're going to require a pie chart. Okay. So if you were going to look at a pie chart and you were to say this % of my business.
Wait, what kind of pie is it?
What's your favorite?
Apple.
Okay. And we're going to look at an apple pie chart. And which percentage of these apples in this pie in your business are related to personal growth?
Oh, shoot. 95? 98?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Almost a whole bushel of apples to go in that pie. It's all got personal growth stamped on those apples. Like, literally.
Can you give us any examples? I know, I feel like I kind of know your examples, but you may surprise me. Tell me some of your examples of layers of personal growth for you. Maybe start at the beginning, what it was like. At the beginning, was it just overcoming yourself? I'm putting words in your mouth, but I don't mean to. Was it
No, you're fine. I mean, I think first layers of personal growth for me were, first of all, like learning how to, how do I say it? Like, to know that growing does not mean that you are in a bad spot. So, like, when people say, like, you have to go through personal growth, well, I've got myself together. I don't need to grow. You know what I mean? So, like, taking that mindset that personal growth is only for people that are in a bad spot. You know, like I had that mindset. So, and it may be just because like at first I related it a lot to like therapy, and as social workers, you know, I was like, well, granted, I needed my therapy, but, and I still do, like 100% all the time. People should never stop thinking that they could benefit from someone else's insight. So, and that's, I think that helped me and be such a lover of personal growth. And I literally get excited about it. I buck a lot. There's a lot of people in this call that are shaking their heads yes right now. And when it comes to like peeling back layers, so like first of all, knowing that it's not a bad stigma to try and grow yourself. And then secondly, like knowing that it's always evolving. Like there's never a spot where you're like, I'm on my game, I got it figured out. Like, no, you don't. And God always has a lesson for us, and he puts people in our life, I believe, to help us peel back those layers. And I've got like an inner circle of people that probably are exhausted 24/7 trying to help me grow into the next level of personal growth for me, because it is not something that I do on my own. I need people who are strong and patient people, and because they get frustrated easily with me because I get these blocks and I don't want to see things. She's trying not to laugh her butt off right now because she's going, I could think of this time, I could think of this time, I could think of this time. When there's been like conversation of like, okay, and it's so funny because like, you know, having different types of personalities in my circle is so important too, because I can't just have like soft-hearted people. I need the ones that are like, hey, like, what are you doing in there? Like, you know, like I need somebody to smack me upside the head sometimes, but I have to give you permission to smack me. Like, literally, I have to be like, okay, it's time to take the kid gloves off, you know, bust him out, which Jetty's usually really good at that. And sometimes, you know, I wish that he would be more so like that. And he's probably like, oh, game on, sister. And so, like, but there's always, like, new layers. And, like, another really big thing that I recently, over the last, like, 6 months, and Lori and Missy Rogers and Katie and Teresa and a few others were totally get this, but, like, I had to learn what it was like to let people love on me and do nice things for me, because I identified with the role of, I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need nobody taking care of me. You know, like that was my attitude. And lay it down. Jessica Bray, are you saying that that's me? Is she saying yes because that's me, or is she saying I can relate? I'm just going to say relate. I know it's her.
Yeah. I can see
but,
I can see both of you kind of being like, no, don't love on me. If you touch me, it's going to be like touching a porcupine.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Like, oh, get off me. I mean, seriously, before I got my hormones balanced, like, people would have to ask me, can I give you a hug today? Like, even if it was some nice gesture, I was like, no, don't touch me. I wrote an email. This is no joke. At my old job, I wrote an email to a lady one time because she hugged me, and I felt like she invaded my personal space, and I was offended. Not even kidding you. And she, like, never looked at me again. And, like, my boss was like, Erin, she was just trying to be nice to you. I was like, she was in my space. And, like, oh, it was bad. That's 95% just a little glimpse.
People, 95% her for her pie. I'm just saying. 95
yeah.
8% of her
yeah.
pie.
Lot.
Okay, somebody's asking if you can give us examples of what you say when you reach out to people. I think this is good if you can come up with some.
Well, okay, so here's, give me a better example of like the type of person or.
Okay, I'm going to give you an example, and maybe the person who's asked here is, I think it was Missy that asked, but.
It was Twanger, yeah.
Okay, if you have, I'm going to give you an example, and if she has an example she wants to ask, I'm going to say, if it's somebody who's tried the product and then they're they're a new customer and you haven't heard from them in a few days and you don't know how things are going, how much you reach out in that instance.
Okay. If I know them personally,
Yes.
because they could be like a cold, just referral from somebody else. But what I'm going to do is message them. And if I see the little head is dropped down in the messenger, then I'm going to send them a voice message. If they haven't responded to just a text, I'm going to send them a voice message and say, hey, girl, I'm sure you're super busy. I see that Susie's got you running to softball and da-da-da-da. I just want you to know that I'm here. So when you're ready, just let me know like how things are going. But I'm so excited to see what you think about plexus. So like already putting that positive like thought into them to know that they're going to have good results. That's a trick that I learned along the way. That was not something I did in the beginning by any means, but like speaking that to life and putting that positive vibe already out there. And if it's somebody that like, I don't know, Twanger, answer this in the chat if you haven't already, but like, do you mean like somebody brand new?
While she's answering that, I want to, because I don't know if she may not still be on here, because I thought she was already saying something. Maybe she is. But one of the things that I wanted to add to what you just said while she's asking the question is when she said the head dropped down there, she's talking about on private messenger, if you message someone.
Sorry.
No, I'm just clarifying for you. If you message someone, you type out a message asking them how it's going, and you can see that they've seen it. And then you're like, okay, well, what she did there is she said she gives them the benefit of the doubt that they're busy rather than getting upset or feeling like they're, ignoring her or whatever. She gives them the benefit of the doubt that they're busy, and she comes back with, hey, I know you're really busy. I just do this. It's your convenience. I think that's brilliant. That's actually one of the best things I've ever heard.
One thing to do is to remember that guys, as plexus people, we're freaks and we're on our phones and Facebook too much. Like, just being straight up. Like, people do not live their lives around like, oh my gosh, somebody just posted about this on plexus or about this. What do you mean you didn't see it? It was 32 minutes ago. Where are you? I'm sorry, I'm living my life. I'm not on social media or my phone. You know what I mean? And I had to learn that, and I still struggle with that, to know that, like, guys, that is not how people live their life. So, yeah, that's good. Or when it's someone on your chicken list that you've already tried to get to know, how do you initiate the conversation? I'm guessing. Let me finish. Okay. So, literally those nudges, I mean, Twanger, you've taught me this really well, to, like, just follow the leading of the spirit and, like, know, like, a lot of times if I know that I'm supposed to ask them, but I still don't feel peace about, like, specifically what I'm supposed to do or say, I'm a praying girl, so that's where I go, is I ask him to give me insight. And if you're not a praying person, then I would say try to look at if they're very active on social media, like something that's going on with them, so you can build a connection and just start a conversation and not be like, girl, you're a nasty witch like I used to be. You want some of the stuff that made me nicer?
Right.
You've got to, like, build some kind of rapport building. I mean, that goes back to my social work days. Like, if I had a client, a teenage kid that would not say boo to me, and I needed to be able to get them to open up, to trust me, to be able to tell me that, A, B, and C was going on in their home, I had to get down to their level, learn about what they like, make it all about them. So get at their level, learn what they like, make it all about them. It is not about you. They're not ignoring you. They don't, it is take you out of the equation.
Yeah. Yes. I totally agree. Let me see if she's.
And as far as the chicken list thing, there's been people that I've just been like straight up like, all right, I'm totally just going to go with this. And I've felt this for a long time. And I know that you've seen my success. And I'm just laying this out there, and I'm going to kind of put it down in front of your feet, and then I'm going to check back with you. And I've had people totally just not even say a word. And then I had this one really sweet lady just go, oh, honey, I just like your post because I'm so proud of you. Like, she was this, like, 65-year-old nurse that would totally kill it, and it would help her and all this stuff. And she was so sweet about it. So, and I just was like, okay, thanks. But I still edify her every chance I get, because you never know when God's got other plans aside from what those people think that the plans are for their life.
Yes. I'm going to read a private message here to you. I'm going to leave out context clues so nobody, because if somebody sends something to me privately, I'm not going to say their name, except for one time I did. And if you're on here this call, I'm sorry, because I did that one time. I remember. I won't this time. So, okay. Basically, somebody said they can totally relate. I think this is referring to when you were talking about not being a hugger. That's what they're talking about, totally relate. They need serious help in this area. They said they are a hugger, but they think because they've always had to be good, they have a hard time admitting and realizing I'm not good and I need help and I want to change. And they said, I'm still old, Erin. And then
Jessica Bryce, she just said, I didn't mean to send that privately.
I didn't think she did. When she said it, I thought, okay, I'm going to read it to you then. It says, I totally relate, sister. I so need serious help in this area. I'm a hugger, but I think because I have always had to be good, I have a hard time admitting or realizing I'm not good and need help and change. I'm still old here and the only people in my daily life, an 8-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Right.
So, you have any?
Yeah, for sure. Like, you need to get, like, to a spot where, like, you understand that you need more supports in your life. And, like, pray those people into your life, Bray. Like, literally pray those. I prayed all of you guys into my life. I prayed me moving to Oklahoma into my life 10 years ago when I visited Colorado and loved it out west and said, if I had people, I would move. Well, Jesus gave me people, so here I am. You know what I mean? Like, that, you know, that's something, and you and I could talk more, but for anybody that feels like, where do I even start? Like, it's finding someone that you can talk to and have as a mentor and going with that and being honest as much as it makes you want to puke and, like, getting some of that junk out. Because Lori and a bunch of people on this call could tell you, like, there's times where I'd be like, I don't want to talk about this. Like, stop it. You know what I mean? Like, I would just clench my fist, and I just had to let go of control. Had to let go of control.
Control.
Yes.
That's okay. I have 2 more questions, and I'm going to ask them at the same time so you can kind of bounce off the 2 questions. Number 1 is, if you can think of this, what's the hardest thing you've learned? And maybe number 2 is there something that you're the most proud of?
What was the first part about the learn?
What's the hardest? Is there a thing that you've learned that was maybe hard to learn, or maybe I don't know.
I think there was a point where, like, you do grow, and then you're like, okay, I got this. I'm on my game. And then there's times where you screw up, and so your ego gets kind of hurt, and throwing your ego out the window and knowing that, like, you don't have it all figured out, and there's challenges that God's going to give you to grow you. So don't ever think that it gets, like, easy when you get to a certain spot. If anything, you have to learn how to be more flexible. I mean, like, gymnast flexibility that this girl has had to embrace. I mean, not in the literal physical sense, thank God, but, like, you know, in the emotional sense, like, emotional flexibility, knowing that is so important because you can't just think that it's, like, you know, going to get to a spot and then you stop, you know. And then when you screw up, you swallow that piece of humble pie, apple humble pie, because if I'm going to swallow humble pie, it's going to be apple. And then go and say, dude, I'm in this learning process just as much as you. I screwed up. I overstepped my bounds. I didn't support you the way that I should. Like, let's figure this out and get after it and do it. Like, we're not done. Like, God's story is not done with us. So we're going to keep going.
Yeah. And then your next thing is something you're most proud of.
Sticking with it.
That's good. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just, like, to say that I did not give up and that I won't give up. Like, I mean, my mom will tell you I'm one of the most stubborn people she's ever met, and that's probably why we butt heads the way that we do, because we both have that quality about us. But, like, knowing that, like, it's not anything that God can't help me accomplish. I'm not going to give up because I don't make it to the next level in a certain time frame. Like, last year when I got to Senior Ruby, I thought for sure my butt was going to Maui last year. I was like, oh, I got this. I'm this close. Then, all the momentum was going. And then God was like, you totally have like taken my purpose out of this, and you need to put me back in this. So I'm going to take you out of this for a little bit. And then we just peeled off more layers. Like that onion just kept going and peeling, and it still is, for sure.
I can remember,
but definitely not giving up.
I can remember it hitting me like a tube before. It's funny how, like, when you answer someone's question and it's like you're answering something, but also the answer came for you at that same minute. Someone was telling me they were going through a lot of hard times early in the business, and I can remember they were complaining, and their complaints were legitimate. And I can remember saying, all I can imagine is that you're going to be a really strong leader down the road, because you will have faced all the booger bears that come out of the forest for this business, and you're going to have so many better answers for your team. As I'm like puking this out my mouth, I'm thinking, I'm answering my own question in my head, like, why do we go through all the stuff that we go through? And because you would be a false leader to be leading people somewhere that you've never been.
Right.
And I think so many people, I think the longer the journey, it's like,
I think
the longer the journey, the sweeter the journey, because of the fact that, I love it when somebody gets momentum and they take it right there. But at some point, everybody pays their dues. Helen McPhee, she says one of my favorite things in this business. She said, I shot to diamond in a year. I had 20 years of experience in network marketing when I found plexus.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, she paid her dues at some point. And, when you're in a different company, you're really paying your dues. Lots of those other companies, you really paid the dues, because it seems like false excitement after false excitement after false start after false start for 20 years. And that would be very hard to swallow, and, by anybody's stretch. So, is there anything else? I don't want there to be some burning thing that I didn't bring up, because as I was writing these questions down, I may have missed something that you wanted to highlight. Do you have a top tip? Anything?
Somebody just said something about it was a team effort, and like it truly was like a divinely appointed team effort to get me to the spot where I am, because it wouldn't have happened if those people couldn't have done the hard work of helping me through sorting out those rotten apples in my apple bushel if they wouldn't have built strong relationships with me. You know what I mean? So like God specifically placed those women and men in my life, and still does, to be able to like make it all a whole system. Like whoever my husband is going to be so thankful for all the work that y'all have done to make me like be married off. I tell Jetty all the time, if you want to get rid of me, find me a husband. Because, like, I'm going to be, like, his annoying little sister until I find a husband, because he's going to have to do stuff for me. So, but legit, like, it's something that it's a team effort. And don't think that you can do it by yourself. Like, not only do we need to first you need to let God be the one, but then you also need to let other people be in your circle and know that you don't have to be the top dog. And guess what? It's okay to look weak. Mm-hmm. That was one that, like, I know Twanger's probably going, told you. Because, like, I would always say, like, I don't want to be weak. And, like, I remember her and I having so many, like, head-button conversations about that. And that word to me, I would go back to, she'd say, okay, what about this? And I'd be like, well, they look weak. And I'm like, I don't want to be weak, So it's laying down the persona that you've always embraced, and know that like you truly are just like his child. That's the only title that we should give ourselves, not like the mouthy, Okie, Yankee, Gypsy, Ginger girl, whatever, like people call me. Like I'm really his, and that's first and foremost. So, but knowing that it's not a bad thing to look weak, or that you don't have to do it all yourself, because that was something that was really hard for me too.
I love what Brene Brown says about vulnerability, because that vulnerability is one of the hardest.
That girl is spot on.
She's spot on.
If you guys don't read Brene Brown, that you need to get your nose and ears into Brene Brown. All of everything she has. Sorry, go ahead.
Brene with a B. She says about vulnerability that it's funny that when we're thinking about vulnerability for ourselves, we classify it as a weakness. But when we look for a best friend or someone to work for us, we look for someone who's honest and vulnerable. How it's like a top quality that we seek out in others, but we don't ourselves want to be that because we somehow classify it in our head as weakness. And she's like, it's the strongest. When you see somebody confess to something that they've done wrong, when you see someone tell of their weakness, you always go, that was brave. You don't ever look at it as weakness when it's on someone else's, when someone else is wearing the label of something that they've done. You never look at it and label it as weakness on other people. It's just when you're in the spot of having to be vulnerable or having to do something that feels vulnerable. So if you have a vulnerability issue, let Jesus and Brene Brown set you free. It's watching her video about the arena. Big stuff.
Yeah, really good.
Someone else, there's a question that's like a pertinent right now question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it's a pertinent to what's going on in Plexus for this season. They said, how do you keep people interested now that they've tried the new Slim but can't get it yet as a customer, so they don't lose interest before they can order as a customer? Yes, they can join, but not all people want to. What would you say? I have an answer, but you can give an answer.
I would really try to pick apart like why they don't want to join, because if anything, like they need to get on while the momentum's high, and they can be like offering this off. We have the 60-day money back guarantee, so there's really no excuse in my book. So that's mine.
Yeah.
What do you got, Lori?
No, that's what I was going to say. If it's a person, I just show them the math. I say, if it's someone who wants to try the triplex, like as a welcome pack, for example, I show them the math and say, well, you can join for $35 plus $99, and that would be your welcome pack and your ability to order. I would say this in a voice message. You could order the products for the rest of the year at wholesale. If you pay retail, you're going to pay I looked this up today. Hang on. For just the triplex, if you pay retail, you're going to pay, anybody know off the top of their head? Here it is. $139.95. And so, is that right? Yeah. $139. Is that right? If I'm wrong, tell me. Oh, $149. Oh, is this true? Okay, so maybe that's true.
That's with the new prices, like Rosemary said. Okay. Yeah, it's with the new prices.
Well, we're talking about but between now and when the new comes out. So right now it would be $140.
Right.
Try the triplex retail.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't want to be an ambassador, they're actually kicking themselves in the butt twice on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Like right now they can get it $135 by getting the triplex as a welcome pack. And for me, if they don't relate to the math and they got some sort of hard-headed problem about being an ambassador, I'd say, I'm so sorry. I'll get back to you as soon as they release it to customers.
Don't waste your time on them, girl. Just like move along to the next one. And then I would, if anything, like be sharing about how many people are, that you're excited about the people that are sharing, because there is for sure. I had people message me that were like, oh, well, wait, it's something new. Like they feel like they're missing out. So like there is like FOMO is a for real like business like tool to use. And a lot of times you can bless and release, Jeff. There are definitely some people that you do just need to bless and release, but there are some that you can kind of market that FOMO and try to rope them in that way. So
I usually tell people, I keep in my mind all the time, and I know you would agree with this, I keep in my mind all the time that I don't want a bunch of people as ambassadors that are not going to promote the product. I guess I should say that's not my goal in Plexus. However, I always keep in the back of my mind that the majority of Jules and Plexus signed up as an ambassador to just be a customer ambassador. So you never know what it's going to be. And when people refuse the business, I always come back to them and say, nobody will force you to do the business. We're a very laid back team. If you decide that you want to share it with a few people, I can show you real easy how to make enough money to cover your own product, but nobody's going to force business on you. This is a wholesale account. That at least allows people to step into the door, get the product down the hatch, begin to get a testimony going in their own, their own body. For many people, it takes a testimony before they're willing, their own story, before they're willing to look at the business at all. And I'm just being real about that. Go ahead.
I think the other thing too is to keep building that edifying that relationship outside of plexus. When they say no, don't drop off.
Yes.
Keep, and if they're like, your hairdresser, somebody that you see on a regular basis, that's great. Like, you have that open line of communication. If it's somebody that reached out to you or you reached out to, build a friendship with them.
Yeah.
Just like wholeheartedly.
It's not false to build friendship with the people that reject your business or reject your products, because it's not even false for me to teach that to you, because the reason I kind of have to push people to do that is because the only reason we wouldn't is fear of rejection.
Right.
It's about us. So to continue to make that about them, keep the relationship going. Yeah. You never know, as far as your business goes, you never know when somebody, I have people right now coming out of the woodworks who have told me no about plexus for 5 years, or told me yes once upon a time and then disappeared and went into witness protection, and now they've come out of witness protection. So I'm like, oh my gosh, you're still alive and kicking, except for, I don't know, do you still have an account? How are we going to do this? I have to go back to the very beginning and figure out if they have an account and all that stuff. So,
and Rose, I think it's true what Rosemary just said, as far as like they just want slim, that, that's fine. I have people that have been my faithful customers for 4 years. Mm-hmm. And, they know that they can, and I'll check in every once in a while, be like, hey, do you want to share your results with other people? Nope, I'm a closet user. Nobody's going to know. And I'm like, okay, you're good. But I still check in with them, and I love on them, and I'll send them like a little appreciation for being my faithful customer. And always, always, always ask them for referrals if they don't want to join your team and they're seeing results, but like maybe cousin Sally has noticed that they've dropped some weight, or they don't run to the bathroom every time they eat Chinese, then say, I'll take referrals anytime you want them and give them to me. So I'm just speaking the truth. That there's somebody that runs to the bathroom when they eat Chinese and it's bad Chinese. I'm just saying.
So, okay, those are that for someone who is just wanting the slim, you can consider selling half of your action pack. It depends on how much you like this person. Okay, that's what I thought. That's how much I like them too. I don't even know them. I don't think so. So that's how I can always, it's a good determining thing. We could always sell half your action pack. Okay, we've got to round this thing down. I've been yakking because this is so fun. Let's see, did I get, and we don't know the answer as to when they're going to release.
No.
We don't know the answer. So I would say it's not going to be too far out just by guessing, but I don't know. Sooner than later. Yeah.
Wait on the insight and the secret, the secret. I was telling Jetty, way to have the insight as a board member, really helping us out there.
Right. He says.
Yeah, whatever, I bet.
Probably sooner than later. Hopefully, I said hopefully. Oh, he said hopefully. He said hopefully. He said hopefully. Sorry. I can't even do sign language for y'all and tell y'all because I don't even know the answer to that. So I hadn't picked his brain on it yet, which is a good thing. That way I don't give it away with my eyes. Okay. All right. So, Erin, I'm putting you on the spot and you can tell me no. Yeah. You have any chatter? You want to pray over people tonight? You want to start it?
I'll start it. All
right.
Okay. Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for bringing us together week after week and connecting all of these loving, kind-hearted, sweet people to all of us together, Lord, and just knowing that the words that we share are your words, first and foremost, always, and knowing that when we put you in control, you love to show off and do crazy things for us. And I love watching all of this unfold for not only me, but all these people that I've just come to love so dearly and that are a part of my family now. And I just thank you for all the blessings that each and every one of the people on this call has brought to my life. Whether or not I may have not talked to them, I thank you for the positive encouragement that they give me and the things that they share. And that's all you. Like, you are the biggest connector to bring people that need love from one another. And I just love how you do that and you connect all of us together, Lord. And I just pray that everyone on this call really, just learns to lay it down at your feet, and that I continue to do that every day and know that you're the one that sustains us and brings hope to us when we don't even know, what tomorrow is going to bring, and everything looks dark around us. Like, we can always go to you, and we may not, have all the answers figured out, and you hasn't shown us the answers, but you don't need to, because we just have that crazy bold faith to know that you're going to just carry us when our legs don't work. I mean, you're the ultimate provider, and I just thank you for all these people that got on the call tonight and just bring blessings over their business and over their families and their relationships, and just touch their hearts to make them softer, because that's one thing that you've done with me, Lord, and I thank you for that. And that's probably one of the greatest gifts besides, your son Jesus, is that showing me what it truly means to have a softer heart for you, Lord, and I just thank you for that.
I just want to add one thing to it. So I just want to thank you, God. I want to thank you tonight for Erin. I want to thank you for the blessing that she's been in our lives, and I want to thank you for the moldable spirit that I've witnessed in her. It's been a blessing for me to watch it. I'm not talking about from a teacher perspective, because I've just grown as she grows. I mean, learned as she's learned, but it's been a blessing to watch the molding that you have done in her, Lord. It's been a blessing to have her on this team, and just to see that servant spirit, like it was a candle at the first, and now it's like a bonfire. That servant heart in her just grow and flicker brighter and brighter every single day. And I just pray more and more anointing into that, more and more blessing flow, Lord, more of your favor. I prophesy that onto her, that as her team grows, as you expand her more in personal growth, Lord, that you're filling her up with peace and the kind of love and joy that can only come from the Holy Spirit, Lord. Claim that. I just pray, I pray the kind of prosperity that brings happiness, true, peaceful happiness, prosperity in finances, of course, but also just prosper her in spirit, Lord, prosper her in her daily walk with you, prosper her in family, prosper her in friends, prosper her in relationships, and help her to continue to mend relationships that need mending, Lord. I just pray your softening of hearts over any type of relationship work that she's doing. She works with so many people, Lord, that I don't know, I can just see this countenance of I see this, as you go lower, you really go higher. That's what I keep seeing. It's like, as you go lower, you go higher. And so I guess that's kind of like less of you, more of him. It's just a picture as he just steps in, and it's kind of showing me that you become more and more like me. I don't know, it's beautiful. I wish you could see what I could see. And, God, I just thank you for that in her, and I thank you for, I feel like the next year, I thank you for what's going to happen in the next year in this business for her. Not just breakthrough in the business, just new breakthroughs above and beyond her wildest imagination. Lord, I thank you that you prepared just the man that can handle her just right, that she can handle him just right. And I just pray blessings in that type of relationship for her too, Lord. I know you have someone very, very special and perfect match picked out for her. Lord, I thank you that I feel like you have a beautiful picture of what this business can look like when it's inclement, when it's like, okay, this took me 4 years or whatever. I feel like you have a beautiful picture of hope for other people, and thank you for sharing it with us tonight, putting it on display for us, because to me, I would rather have hope than tips anytime. And I thank you for willing to be vulnerable and just lay out truth for us the way you did tonight. And I ask all these blessings over you and over all of you tonight in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I received that.
Yes.
I like it.
Thank you guys for getting on here tonight. I know we've gone past time, but this is going to be one for the record books. I know so many of you have probably people. I want you to tab, once I've got this on YouTube, I want you to put this video somewhere, because you will have people come along in your journey who need to watch this interview. I promise you, as they begin to rank advance, and they need to see what this journey can look like for someone who maybe had no network marketing experience, for someone whose friends thought she was cranky. All these things. It's going to be such an interesting diamond documentary. Do you know what I'm saying? It's going to be such an interesting diamond documentary to watch. So, okay. Thank you guys for getting on here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. All right. Good night, you guys. I'm gonna stop the